In this video, things got really real. Elon Musk's life may credibly be under threat, and I'm not joking. Plus, a Tesla bull has a warning for Tesla stock investors, and the man writing Elon Musk's biography shares some insights into what makes Elon Musk tick. There's rarely a dull moment, so let's get into it. Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you enjoy these videos, there's a bunch of ways you can support the channel, access exclusive content and perks. Check out the links in the pinned comment below. If you want to take it to the next level, join thousands of members on Patreon to gain exclusive access to over 100 Q&A videos, loads of exclusive content, exclusive access to my up-to-date 10-year Tesla stock price targets, and even access my Tesla valuation model at the investor support level and above. You can also pick up some Tesla, Elon, and investment themed merch in the merch store, so check out the links in the pinned comment below, and thanks for your support. And this is the tweet posted by Elon Musk just moments ago. Quote, "If I die under mysterious circumstances, it's been nice knowing ya." Now many people think, Elon's just trolling, got a little bit of time on the weekend, haha, he's so funny. But this isn't just Elon high on Ambien. Elon's nice knowing ya tweet posted moments after this. Elon sharing that Dmitry Rogozin, head of the Russian space agency, sent this to Russian media. Now, I'm not great with Russian, nor are most of you, but thankfully we have language translators now that do a relatively decent job, so let's see the gist of this message. Elon Musk posting a translation below, with the comment, "The word Nazi doesn't mean what he seems to think it does," so let's read this in full. "From the testimony of the captured commanders of the 36th Marine Brigade of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, Colonel Dmitry Kolmyankov, it turns out that the internet terminals of Elon Musk's Starlink satellite company were delivered to the militants of the Nazi Azov Battalion and the Ukrainian Marines in Mariupol by military helicopters. According to our information, the delivery of the Starlink equipment was carried out by the Pentagon. Elon Musk, thus, is involved in supplying the fascist forces in Ukraine with military communication equipment. And for this, Elon, you will be held accountable like an adult, no matter how much you'll play the fool." This sounds like a thinly veiled threat. Now, just for the record, it's completely unlike anyone within Russian government or other organizations to perform assassinations on people who say and or do things that they would prefer they didn't say and or do. I'm not sure why this Wikipedia page listing over 100 Soviet and Russian assassinations is currently on screen. I don't know what the deal is here, but the point is, obviously, there's absolutely no credible threat to Elon Musk's life here, despite the head of the Russian space program claiming, falsely for the record, that Elon Musk has a hand in supplying Nazis with military communication equipment. Of course, this is the narrative that's now being spread by the fake Russian news, the propaganda machine. By the way, it's not that much different from the US mainstream media, just for the record. So I wouldn't at all be concerned about a potential threat on Elon Musk's life. There's not any history or track record of people who did the wrong thing or said the wrong thing disappearing as a result of Russia wanting them to disappear. So anyway, I think I had a point and it wasn't Russian assassinations. Or was it? Yeah, I'm not really sure. Was it or wasn't it? God damn, this is a very, very long, disturbing list. I haven't even gone back 20 years yet. I've been scrolling for like 4 centuries. This is nuts. So this is a rather disturbing turn of events. Truth be told, I think the odds of something happening to Elon Musk aren't particularly high, but it is still concerning. And I would hope that Elon is currently massively buffing up his security team. I have to confess, I'm not surprised to see these thinly veiled threats coming from Russian officials. One of the very first things that Russia attempted to do was cut off communications within Ukraine, Starlink to the rescue. Of course, according to Russia, in effect, they're trying to deal with some Nazis in Ukraine. They're trying to help everybody. They're doing the right thing by slaughtering countless innocent people. But Elon Musk, SpaceX, and Starlink thought, you know what? This is up. We're going to try to help the people of Ukraine by allowing them to continue to communicate. And there's no doubt that Starlink has played a pivotal role in this conflict. Let's just hope this soon blows over. And a few thoughts on the absolute worst possible outcome. If Elon Musk is taken out by a bowl of soup, all I can say is, hell hath no fury, like 100 million Elon Musk fanboys and fangirls seeking to avenge his death. I think this public threat singling out Elon Musk was a very unwise decision. One thing's for sure, this threat won't cause Elon Musk to cower away. In fact, he's probably going to double down. The guy has balls the size of a planet. Elon also has a very, very strong sense of justice. Despite the posturing and threats, in my opinion, this just doesn't end well for Russia. Now onto a new research note from Morgan Stanley, which also includes a warning for Tesla stock investors. The mother of all capex cycles, Tesla and the great American onshore battery capex cycle. We publish our updated forecast following Q1 results, reiterating our overweight rating and a $1,300 per share price target for Tesla stock. We believe Tesla's role in building out US and Western Europe renewable energy infrastructure is underappreciated. I also agree. Pay attention to Tesla's leadership in the mother of all capex cycles, the MAC. War plus inflation equals energy innovation. Global markets are firmly in the grip of inflation. Inflation is a powerful catalyst for innovation, rivaled by war. The lack of energy supply, both structural and idiosyncratic, renewable and fossil, ranks high amongst global challenges. By the way, the world's biggest problems are also the world's biggest opportunities. Re-architecting the global renewable energy infrastructure and supply chain will require as much as 20 to 40 terawatt hours of battery capacity and $10 to $20 trillion of accumulated capex spend through 2040. Does anyone know any companies that sell batteries? That I'd probably, maybe want to own some of their stock, just saying. We believe names exposed to this capex cycle can drive powerful alpha in your portfolio. Old economy, long out of favor, heavy industrial names that make stuff, move stuff, and dig stuff out of the ground may be poised for a renaissance. With respect to Tesla, we think attributes like AI, autonomous, and EV are fully, if not overappreciated here. Literally speechless. You gotta be kidding me, right? Tesla has the foundational seeds of AGI, and Morgan Stanley believe that Tesla's AI capabilities, and that includes autonomous vehicles, are fully, if not overappreciated here. In fact, we believe Tesla's more gritty capabilities in terms of manufacturing, material sourcing, supply chain, and infrastructure will drive the next leg of growth to the story. Now, I can't argue with that. I believe that these are also massively underappreciated aspects of Tesla's business. But I think Morgan Stanley are making a colossal error here, thinking that Tesla's AI abilities, autonomy, and so on are already fully, if not overappreciated. Not gonna age well. Jesus Christ, dude. Tesla's prowess as a tech company is known. Enter the industrial powerhouse. Key changes to our model and valuation. Volume. We lower our 2022 volume forecast to 1.43 million units from 1.46 million previously. Our 2030 volume increases to 8.69 million, up from 8.6 million. Still not even half of Tesla's own publicly stated goal. Admittedly, the futile fascist shutdowns in Shanghai caused Tesla to lose a massive amount of volume, but we know they're ramping back up pretty quickly. I will be astonished, and I mean astonished, if Tesla comes in even close to Morgan Stanley's 1.43 million estimate. Add about another 200,000 give or take, and I think that's closer to the mark. Of course, we've still got more than 6 months of the year to go. Anything could happen in that time, and I expect in that time Morgan Stanley will increase their 22 delivery estimates multiple times. Gross margin. Morgan Stanley also lowering their 2022 gross margin to 26.8%, excluding zero-emission vehicle credits, from 28.1% previously. The decrease reflects our view of inflationary pressure cutting into margin in the remainder of the year. Specifically, we anticipate price hikes from Tesla's battery cell supplies that were not fully reflected in 1Q results due to timing differences. Now, this is a reasonable point, but I don't think Morgan Stanley have been paying attention on Tesla's earnings call. Last earnings call, in explicit detail, Tesla described the fact that they have been anticipating price increases, inflationary pressure, and adjusting prices accordingly. Tesla isn't reacting here, they're anticipating. So, it is possible that Tesla could have some unforeseen surprise increases in costs of materials, parts, and so on. But it's really important to understand. What Morgan Stanley is saying here is, we anticipate that some of Tesla's costs went up, and we also believe that we're smarter than Tesla, and we knew that these costs would increase, but Tesla didn't see the cost increases coming. Therefore, we believe Tesla's margins will compress. Again, it is possible, but I don't think this is likely. That being said, the ramp up of Berlin and Austin may temporarily drag on gross automotive margins this year, but I don't know how much clearer Tesla could have made things on the earnings call. They've been increasing their prices ahead of time, knowing that there's a huge lead time between when a customer makes an order and actually takes delivery, and accounting for that lag as well, and doing their absolute utmost to ensure that those price hikes land around the same times as the increase in their materials and parts. I don't think Morgan Stanley are giving Tesla enough credit here. Cash flow. We estimate Tesla will generate approximately $9 billion of free cash flow this year, rising to $27 billion of free cash flow by 2025. And now, on to Morgan Stanley's warning. Volatility. We fully expect Tesla to remain equally as volatile as your insane girlfriend. Wait, did I read that right? Sorry. We fully expect Tesla to trade with the market in the weeks and months ahead. And there are clear areas where we wish market expectations would be lowered. Firstly, we think core automotive margin is too high at this point, and it does not fully reflect input cost inflation. Again, go back to Tesla's most recent earnings call. Tesla is 69 steps ahead. They've been anticipating price increases, not reacting to them. So I don't think Morgan Stanley are right here. Secondly, we believe expectations of full autonomy or FSD flipping into a major near-term margin boost are overestimated. In fact, we believe level 4, level 5 autonomy at scale is well over a decade away, and I believe this also won't age well. Of course, I could be wrong. After all, there's a lot of unknowns in solving autonomy, but my best guess, somewhere around mid-decade, give or take, first autonomous robotaxi fares take place in Tesla vehicles, continues to scale from that point. I will be shocked, and I mean shocked, if we don't see fully autonomous vehicles at scale in the later half of this decade. Morgan Stanley continues. It will come, folks, but it's too darn difficult. And finally, we continue to believe Tesla's long-term future in China is highly uncertain. We do see some scope for Tesla to potentially retain an ownership umbilicus of a Chinese-controlled Tesla unit, but the path may be very winding and unpredictable. And just some notes on Morgan Stanley's change to the valuation model. While our $1,300 price target is completely unchanged, conveniently, the composition has changed in a material way. We reduced the core automotive valuation to $608 per share, down from $646 per share, and we reduced network services to $338 per share, down from $393 per share. Offsetting these reductions, we increased Tesla Energy to $111 per share and Tesla third-party battery, as in supplying battery cells to other companies, credit to Morgan Stanley for seeing this inevitable outcome, to $131 per share. We increased our weighted average cost of capital to 8.5%, up from 8%, to reflect a rising risk-free rate, which had a negative impact across all divisions of approximately $120 per share, collectively. Always interesting to hear thoughts of Morgan Stanley and Adam Jonas on Tesla. Such a confusing bunch. Some stuff they really get, other stuff just embarrassing. I mean, still today, they're not even expecting Tesla to reach half of their publicly stated goal. Yet today, Tesla clearly on track to hit 20 million units per year in 2030. Tesla's already on schedule. They're on track. The good news here is that there's enormous upside. If Morgan Stanley are wrong, which would be a true shock, and Tesla delivers more than double the amount of vehicles Morgan Stanley is expecting them to at the end of the decade, Tesla's margins are more robust and higher than Morgan Stanley are expecting, Tesla has anticipated rather than reacted to price increases. This just means that there is enormous upside for Tesla stock, and Morgan Stanley's $1,300 per share price target is a joke. The major point of contention I have here with Morgan Stanley, of course, is around autonomy. Yes, it's an extremely difficult problem, but I don't think it's going to take as long to solve as Morgan Stanley expect. In either case, though, I don't give a flying f***. Whether autonomy happens in 24, 27, 32, or 42 doesn't matter. Why? Because I'm still going to be holding all of my Tesla stock. And whenever that massive value creation moment takes place, I'll already have accumulated enough Tesla stock before the fact. So I'm not really concerned about the timing again. It's very important to understand that I believe Tesla's lead in autonomy is unassailable. No one's ever going to catch up to Tesla. No one will ever develop safer autonomous software than Tesla, because Tesla has the unassailable data lead. If this weren't true, if I thought there were credible threats, some other companies might be able to accumulate enough data, have the right skill set, and actually beat Tesla, make even better autonomous software that's even safer, demonstrably safer, things would be different. From where I'm standing, it's pretty clear. Tesla will be number one. Timing isn't so important, just the fact that they're in pole position and no one's catching up. And now, what makes Elon Musk tick? We're over here on the New York Crimes, an absolute dumpster fire of a publication with some occasionally reasonable content. Today, the latter. Walter Isaacson, who is currently writing Elon Musk's biography, shares a few thoughts on what makes Elon Musk tick. What drives Elon Musk? Musk, the world's richest man, has long been an object of fascination as the founder of the electric car company Tesla and the rocket maker SpaceX. But during the past few weeks, as he flirted with buying Twitter and then offered about $44 billion for the influential social platform, all under blanket media coverage, curiosity about what moves him has grown. Quote, "I've always been interested in innovators and people who push the boundaries, and he's pushing the most important and difficult boundaries," Walter Isaacson said. This week, after Twitter accepted Musk's bid, Isaacson prepared for a reporting trip that includes traveling with Musk and visiting people from his past. He has already interviewed about 200 people around Musk, Isaacson said, and spent days talking to him and shadowing him. By the way, if none of you have ever read a Walter Isaacson biography, you can look forward to an absolute phone book, plenty of detail and information. In a telephone interview on Wednesday, Isaacson spoke about the challenges of writing a biography about a figure who is constantly evolving and expanding his empire. It's like, quote, "trying to take notes while drinking from a fire hose," he said. Fair point. These are edited excerpts from the conversation. "When did you first approach Musk about a biography?" Isaacson responding, "We started talking about 7-8 months ago." By the way, scrolling through this article, there's some related stuff, a bunch of New York Times opinion pieces on Elon Musk and Twitter. I just have to, because I mean, I called it, I have to keep pointing out when I'm right, because that's why I make predictions ahead of time. First, this one implying that Twitter isn't actually that important. Quote, "Those who tweet belong to a very specific and limited group of people. It's time to reconsider how consequential the platform truly is." Another one, not so funny, which is good to see. "Many worry that Twitter might get worse under Elon Musk, but there's also room for it to become much better. If meaningless speech is what the billionaire hopes to cultivate, then perhaps his purchase of Twitter actually makes sense." Anyone get the sense Amelia's panties are in a twist here? Meaningless speech? And of course, you've got to refer to Elon as a billionaire, because billionaire is currently a derogatory term, because if somebody has money and I don't, they took it from me and therefore they're bad. Another one, Mr. Musk has embraced a flawed understanding of the free speech issue. That makes the deal particularly dangerous. That's right, please get scared, because Elon Musk's Twitter deal is dangerous. And finally, from Pamela, the impending cloud of Elon Muskiness hanging over Twitter is sure to set off a wave of farewells to the platform, and this is definitely fair. Plenty of rats currently or already having fled the ship. Walter continues, it wasn't like I pursued him or he pursued me. We started talking about it, seeing if it would make sense. I have no deal with him. There's no contract. It was just, will you give me access? And he said, I'll do it. And I said, yeah, I think I'll do it. 10 minutes later, he tweeted it out. What do you think makes Musk such a fascinating and complex character, both for the public and to you as a writer? I've always been interested in innovators and people who push the boundaries, and he's pushing the most important and difficult boundaries, which are electric cars, solar, sustainable energy, space travel, and robot and human computer neural link interfaces. I mean, we dead. Oh, is that all? Does put things in perspective though. Most of your previous books have been about the lives of historical figures, and your Jobs biography came out after his death, so the arc of their lives and the scope of their accomplishments are clear, but Musk is still making daily news. How does that change your approach as a biographer? This is actually a great question. For reference, check out Ashley Vance's 2016 biography of Elon Musk, and then think about what's changed, what's new, what's happened since. Really puts things in perspective. Dealing with his life is like trying to take notes while drinking from a fire hose. It keeps coming fast. I'm sure there's an inappropriate joke about you and coming fast here, but let's move on. I'm not quite sure how the story unfolds yet. It'll be driven by events. The good news is, I can let events drive the book. I don't have to force an artificial deadline. How do you shape the kind of chaos that Musk creates into a coherent, long-form narrative? It is definitely going to be a challenge. This thing really is a movable feast. But the main thing is just to make it a clear narrative, from a troubled childhood in South Africa to becoming one of the most influential people on the planet. I would argue the most influential person on the planet. Name somebody on planet Earth today who has more influence than Elon Musk. Need I remind you the earlier conflict with Russia? What kind of access have you gotten to him? He hasn't always been that cooperative with reporters in the past. I think, in truth, Elon hasn't been that cooperative with garbage human beings who also happen to be reporters in the past. He's been very, very open, not only him and the people around him, but he's been very good at allowing me to access people from his past. I've had interviews with about 200 different people already, and I have spent, I would say, many days talking to him at length and shadowing him. I've been traveling where he goes. What did you make of the news of his Twitter takeover? Did it seem like a move that was in keeping with your understanding of his character and his ambitions? He's always been fascinated by Twitter and deeply understands how it can be used and maybe how it can be improved. His fascination with Twitter doesn't surprise me. If his purchase of Twitter goes through, it will hugely expand his business empire and his sphere of influence. How does this news change the scope of your biography? It adds a new subplot. The important thing is to tie it together into a narrative and show how these missions fit together. Musk is famous for trolling, making explosive off-the-cuff remarks and reversing consequential statements. You mean changing his mind? How do you handle that in a long-form narrative, knowing that his positions could look very different after publication? What the f***? Isaacson responding, I don't think he's as random as he allows himself to appear. I think it's much more thought through. I don't really understand this whole idea of Elon sort of flipping on a dime in terms of his positions on anything. Very, very rarely he may change his mind when there's new evidence. But the implication here within the question is that Elon Musk changes his opinions randomly and haphazardly, and you'll never know what he thinks about this or that tomorrow. It's absurd. Maybe it's just the fact that Elon is willing to publicly change his mind on things where most other people will just double down, even in the face of new evidence. Does the fact that he's constantly making news make it harder or easier to write a book about him? The good thing about Elon Musk is everybody wants to talk about him and everybody's got thoughts about him. What are the respective challenges and obstacles of writing about a living versus a dead subject? Well, it's a lot more thrilling of a ride. There's rarely a dull moment. As I said earlier, I really do hope the issues with Russia quickly dissipate. It's hard to know for sure exactly how serious the threat we're talking about here, but the very fact that Elon Musk is being singled out in statements by the head of the Russian space program, who is making statements to Russian media, the propaganda machine that will then be disseminated to the populace of Russia. As I said, I really do hope Elon is massively upping his security detail. We also heard from Morgan Stanley there, making some semi-reasonable points and also making no sense whatsoever on others. What a surprise. That being said, they do get Tesla better than most on Wall Street, maybe not saying a whole lot, and Walter Isaacson sharing some insights about Elon Musk and his forthcoming biography. So, I hope you guys and girls have enjoyed the video. Let me know in the comments below, do you personally believe there's a credible threat on Elon Musk's life coming from Russia? Is this just an attempt at intimidation and scare tactics? Or would Elon be wise to immediately hire a food taster or 10? And lastly, don't forget to join Patreon with the card in the corner or the link in the pinned comment, in addition to having exclusive access to my up-to-date Tesla stock price price targets all the way out over the next decade or so. You'll gain access to over 100 exclusive Q&A videos, plus loads of exclusive content dropping on Patreon in the next week or so. Stay tuned for that. I'm Stephen Mark Ryan. This is Solving the Money Problem, and I love you all. Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you enjoy these videos, there's a bunch of ways you can support the channel, access exclusive content and perks, and get some free stocks and crypto. Check out the links in the pinned comment below. You can also pick up some Tesla, Elon, and investment themed merch in the merch store. If you want to take it to the next level, join thousands of members on Patreon to gain exclusive access to over 100 Q&A videos, loads of exclusive content, exclusive access to my up-to-date 10-year Tesla stock price targets, and even access my Tesla valuation model at the investor support level and above. So check out the links in the pinned comment below, and thanks for your support. And if you're still watching, you're awesome. I read every single comment on this channel, and I really appreciate your feedback. So if you've got any thoughts on today's video, questions, comments, or suggestions for a new video, let me know in the comments below. Check the cards on screen now to browse the merch store, join Patreon, or watch the next video.